We're living through student housing hell in Canada right now. There's a level of unfairness here. What am I talking about? I'm talking about foreign students who should be here. It's a great thing to educate people from all over the world in our country. It's great. But these goddamn colleges, some of them are just diploma mills, and a bunch of our own universities have just turned this into a goddamn business. It's just a free-for-all to try to bring in as many bodies as humanly possible, charge tuition up the yin-yang, and not give one tiny shit about where any of them live, okay? That's crazy. Seriously, let's think about this. International student visas are issued. I think the number I read was there's 845,000 of them, okay? And some of these colleges apparently have some of them in BC and Ontario have just opened for the sake of sucking this money out of people. I read one that said there was 80%. 80% are foreign students. How the fuck's that even possible, 80% foreign students? And huge cost. So do we care that none of these places give a damn about where these kids have to live? Okay. And let's look at how it hurts everybody. It doesn't just obviously do the clear harm on these kids who've been conned to be coming to Canada, and then there's no place to live. They're stacked up 8 to a basement, sleeping on futons with curtains to divide them, sharing one washroom. They got a hot plate in the corner. Horrible conditions. Oh, and how about this one? The government made it easier for them to work in Canada part-time when they're here. Well, I sure as shit guess they have to work in Canada because they've been conned into showing up here with the highest rents in the world, like $850 for that futon with a curtain in the basement. Yeah, I guess they got to work, okay? Obviously for low minimum wages. Jesus H. Christ. Bad for everybody. I'm serious. When you have brought in way too many foreign students, and when I say way too many, I mean that you intentionally brought in enormously more than you could possibly house if you're in a university, because guess what? Unlike many states in the Union, down south, we don't tell the university they have to provide any housing, hardly any, 1 year's worth it's ridiculous, okay? Hardly any housing is on the backs of the university. They don't care. They just want to make money, bring in as many kids as we can, run up the fees, run up the tab on all these high tuitions, because, by the way, they are 4 times domestic tuition. So we're going to run up the tab. We're going to be able to hire more assistants. I'm going to get a bigger position. I'm going to get a promotion if you're the recruiter. If you're the administrators bringing all these people in, it's just a scam to feather their nests, okay? And for the for-profit colleges, well, that's just sheer ripoff. I was talking about the administrators in the government-based universities. They just add to the endowment, but the other thing they do is that a supervisor can become a manager can become a director can become the boss of the whole thing, and the salaries just keep going up, because if you produce this massive amount of money, you can hire massive amount of administrative people. You notice I didn't say they were hiring any more professors, because they probably aren't. It's so much administration in the universities and colleges across Canada. There's I think there's 5 administrators to every teacher. Something's crazy going on here, all based on this massive cash flow. And once again, unfair to everyone. If you're in a small town like Kingston, or I'll call it a small city. We love Kingston. I'm not trying to beat you up. But if you have greatly expanded the population of your university in Kingston, then you've taken some available living space away from people who just want to buy houses, first-time home buyers. You've jacked the price up, because if you're running out each room or each futon or each cubicle for $850, then all of a sudden it's just investors buying these properties. It's not first-time homeowners. And that just spreads through the whole system. I'm serious. If you've artificially incented people to have student housing because it's highly profitable, then they're going to bid up the price of the locations close to the university or within transit of university, and that's just going to keep running the price of houses up in Canada. Like, oh, really, let's face it, essentially everything is bad about this except educating the kids, okay? And even that's questionable in some of these diploma mills that are for profit. I mean, we've got to really ask ourselves, is that a good thing for anybody? So, yeah, student housing hell for international students in Canada. Why are we doing it? It makes no goddamn sense.